Not one, yes, two, coming again at you with another video. Let's get straight into it, guys. And this is not to put down any other race or say that white women are better than um, Hispanics or black or Mexican or anything like that. This is just to prove my point, and it's to let you guys know the reason why the women you're dating, a lot of reason why the way they are. A lot of reason why people the way they are is through childhood experience. Your childhood experience, for the most part, defines you as an adult. You know, it took me a while to get over how my mom raised me and the stuff that she did. You know, for years I was blaming my mom for the reason why my life was the way it is, my trust issues with other women, you know, how I dealt with women in relationships and stuff like that. But you know what I mean, as of I would say as of last year, towards the end of last year, I let go of all that and I stopped blaming her. So it takes certain people a while. If you're lucky enough to get over that, you know, younger than I did, good for you. But let's just get straight into it. Let's start off with the thumbnail. The thumbnail, you see the white women in that picture, and that was in the 1920s. That was when women officially got rights to vote, and you know whatever else. But as you see, that was mainly white women. White women were the first to go and establish that you know when they wanted rights and they received rights because obviously you know blacks went through slavery and people care less about black women and what they wanted. So now you have all these modern women today talking about they don't need a man and equal rights and equal pay and this and that. Whereas you see, white women were the first ones that wanted that stuff. So a lot of these women nowadays are piggybacking off of women back in the 1900s, the early 1900s, as you see. So let's talk about it. I've dated and dealt with plenty of Spanish women, black women when I was a young teen in my early 20s, and a lot of them have dealt with plenty of bad family situations. You know, whether it was being molested by a uncle or a close family member, or just the fact that their father wasn't there, or just the fact that their mother was always running the streets and they were taking care of their little sister, watching after their little brothers. How many black women do you know, Spanish women do you know that watched their siblings a lot while their mother went to work or their mother was out on a date or whatever she was doing running the streets? And again, let me say this now. I'm speaking as a generalization. I'm not speaking of isolated incidents because I know there are some situations where there are white daughters who had to, you know, babysit and raise their kids and grew up in really bad homes who dealt with a lot of molestation and all other types of stuff. But as a whole, like guys, I've dated three white women, including the one I'm with now. The first two, six or longer relationships. The first two, I took both of their virginities, and let me tell you, both of those women, their parents were not together. They were divorced. They were separated, but they were still in their lives. Both of those women I dated, their fathers were active. I've met their fathers, talked to their fathers. Their fathers financially helped as much as they could. And they weren't on child support either. The one I'm with now, parents divorced also, but they get along well. They go on trips together. They on holidays they exchange gifts. Father's 100% in her life, mother's 100% in her life, both heavily supported throughout the divorce, even when they moved on and dated other people. Excuse me. But this is not very common with blacks in Spanish. A lot of the times, the father's gone, whether it's by his choice or by the mother's choice. And you guys have to realize that when you're dating these women, these are the underlying issues that they are dealing with and they take out on you. You wonder why she's controlling and so short tempered. She's controlling because she's not used to having control. She's used to being controlled. Her mom telling her, oh, you're going to watch your daughter. You're going to do this. Being put in adult situations. Having light bills and cable bills in her name at a young age, already messing her credit up. A lot of white girls growing up actually got to be kids. And did not have to see the adult stuff that their parents were going through. Did not have to see the different men in and out of the house. Why is that? And if you want peace, tranquility, and patience from a woman, You're more than likely going to get that from a white woman. I'm sorry, but it's just the truth as a black man. And believe it or not, white women treat black men different than they treat white men. 100%. 100%. I promise you. A white woman will give a white man an attitude so fast, no matter what his financial status is, cheat on him. But when it comes to black men, they are completely different. They have patience. They're 100% more faithful. They're scared to cheat. They're scared of getting caught cheating. Like I said, this is a generalization. And they're willing to spend the money. They don't have their hand out asking and expecting things, expecting for him to pay for the date. They're willing to pay. Oh, I got it. You don't have to worry about it. You need anything to eat? You hungry? You thirsty? This is how white women treat black men. And you have to wonder why. Because they've seen it growing up. They've seen their mom catering to men. Their mom doesn't say, have never said, I don't need a man. Their mom has never told them they were ugly and they need to do something with their hair. Their mom has not put them down throughout their upbringing. Again, all this stuff that these black and Spanish women go through their childhood, it affects you when they date you. It's all passed down from generation to generation. And unfortunately, they don't know any better because their parents put them down. And their parents didn't show them the right way how to treat a man. But you have to think, do I want to be in a situation? Do I want to be with this black or Spanish woman just because she looks good and her bedroom game is good? And because our kids or come out, mixed and have really good hair? Are you willing to deal with the impatience of her? Are you willing to deal with her snapping at you? Are you willing to deal with her being so high maintenance? Are you willing to deal with her having her hand out? Are you willing to deal with her nosy family? Are you willing to deal with her childhood trauma? Are you willing to deal with the trauma of her past relationships? White women have it easy too because when they leave a relationship, it's easy for them to disconnect. A lot of white women don't bring that baggage from the last relationship into the next relationship, especially when it comes to a black man. If a white woman dated a white man and then goes and dated a black man, she's not going to have any baggage. She's not going to compare him to her last relationship. She's not going to say, oh, I have trust issues because my last boyfriend did this, did that. No, you don't really hear that with white women. And don't ignore the white women you see on TikTok and on YouTube with all these. I'm not talking about those women. Ignore that stuff. Because you know what? A lot of these dudes are post videos to make women look bad. They always post the bad stuff and very rarely post the good stuff. They may post one good video towards the end and just say, oh, there is some goodness in the world. But overall, they're just showing the bad. But there is a lot of good. So I hope you guys are really listening to everything I'm saying in this video. And if you're dating a black woman as a black man or a Spanish woman as a black man, you really think and weigh out the pros and cons before you lay down and have unprotected sex with this woman. Because it's just a repeated process. And another thing I didn't mention in my video about Spanish women is you have to watch out for is if you have a son with them, they really, really like to baby their sons. They really like raising weak men. Poppy this, poppy that, babying them. That's going to grow him up to be weak. And a lot of these Spanish dudes, they don't know how to take rejection. They don't know how to deal with rejection. You wonder why they're so possessive, why they beat on their women, and why a lot of women say Spanish dudes are crazy. Because they were raised by mothers who babied them and made them feel like they're not supposed to be told no. And that a woman's supposed to literally do everything they say. And if not, there's consequences. So these are all things you want to take in consideration. And again, you want to remember that white women were the first women to ask for equal rights. White women were the first to think they could do what men could do, if not better. Because in the slavery days, a lot of decisions that these slave masters made were behind their wives, behind the white women. A lot of white women gave them ideas. Even in politics in the early 1900s. These were a lot of white women ideas, and the men just took the credit for it. So a lot of you black women, you really need to think about the original source and where it came from with all this equal rights and all this, we don't need a man, we could do this, we could do that. Think about really where it came from and pay your homage or just drop it and stop talking about it because you really sound intelligent. And I feel like a lot of you don't know the history and who really started this stuff. But fellas, black men, just mainly black men, get you a white woman, man. Get you a white woman that's never been with a black man before, and I guarantee you'll be a lot happier You won't deal with her past issues or past trauma, and you'll have a great future. See you in the next one. Peace and love.